Hi, hello everyone. Good evening. Good to see so many people in the Odoo conference in general. Amazing presentation by Fabian in Odoo 19. I think it was very attractive and intense. I will try to live up to the expectation with this presentation to go close to possible to make it exciting. We are trying to cover a customer case study here, generally which we are very proud of. And I think one of the important thing that I was listening even for the previous session that when you are hiring, always look for impact, which is the most important thing. And as a Brainvire as a company, when we do any implementation, we always look for impact. And the impact can be either increase efficiency, reduce waste, manual efforts, XYZ, right? I mean, whatever things are there. So the customer success story that we are trying to cover is Jonite is our customer based out of Singapore. And we try to move them from most of the manual process to digital automation with Odoo 18. A little bit of brief on the company, Brainvire. I started this company around 12 years back. We grew to around 1,800 people globally. Recently we got merged with an entity called Say Differently. So now we are a part of private equity global group, which is 4,500 team members. We have close to around 280 people in Odoo. 300 plus implementation we have done. Around 180 plus are Odoo certified people. We are a Odoo Gold partner in US, in Canada, in Dubai, in Singapore, in Saudi, and maybe a silver in Kuwait. So these are the region that we operate the business out of. Myself, been in the industry for 24 years, done few companies, exited few, associated with Odoo for last 6-7 years. I think we started around 8 years back looking at Odoo and gone deeper with them in last 7 years. It has been amazing journey for us with Odoo and what we able to achieve in terms of digitization with the scale, flexibility, and with the price and the quality that we able to achieve. It's very attractive from the customer's point of view. Little bit about a customer, Jonite, started in 1994 from Singapore business. They are 95% natural and then recycle content from mostly from the sustainability point of view. Mostly they are dealing into natural stone, engineering stones, covers, and the bridge blocks, which generally require aesthetics from the look and feel because it's part of the interior design, and also you need the durability because it's generally done during the construction and the interior designing. They are very customized, depend upon the load, capacity, texture, color, pattern. They are able to customize the product. So they wanted something where manufacturing and the customization according to customer standards can be done easily. Some of their customers are Singapore Changi Airport, Ora Boca in USA. These are some of their customers. Trusted by generally the architect and developers are their major customers. So kind of a B2B, and sometimes the home or the office owners get involved in the decision making process. So blended design, architect level design, and those type of things are important from their product point of view. Before we started implementing Odoo, what was the life before, right? I mean, so it was majorly a disconnected system. They were using HubSpot from the CRM point of view. Katana they were using for entire manufacturing process. Office, Word, PowerPoint for all the standard BOM and things like that. Accounting was done in QuickBooks. They have two companies, one in Singapore, one in Malaysia. Singapore is more or less sales operation. Malaysia is more or less from the manufacturing process point of view. So the scenarios were two companies were running in a separate way, and then a lot of quality checks, manual checks and all were there. So thing is that everything was running in silo. There was no single truth of system. So they were not able to identify to get every data in a single place. What is the best way to get into it? Their BOMs were unique and design approval process. So that was something that they wanted to make sure that it should be seamless rather than manually running in a 2-3 system. That approval has to be taken by the customer support, or salesperson needs to take it. They run separate system. Katana runs manufacturing where there is a BOM created. So things like that. Also that inventory was a challenge that, Malaysia and Singapore were not talking to each other. So how to make sure that the salespeople know the inventory, know the manufacturing time, know the process, and know the customization on hand rather than manually asking and all. Compliance issues and localization between different countries, right? Malaysia operates in a different way, Singapore operates in a way. It's a two separate currency, two separate localization, two separate structure. So we needed to make sure the system should be flawless to integrate, understand, and make sure that things works out. Also traceability was important, right, from the order to the closure. And then reporting was manually delayed. Half of the time it was not perfectly done. So this was some of the gaps that we identified when we started journey and the business process with them. And then ultimately we implemented Odoo in around 6-7 months. We are live for last 9-10 months. And there are certain measure criteria that we have covered, which I will try to cover during the end of the presentation. So we implemented Odoo Enterprise 18, sales, purchase, CRM, inventory, quality, manufacturing and accounting from the module point of view. Intercompany was important, so we created two companies, one Singapore, one in Malaysia, two separate companies, two separate countries, two separate currencies, but there was a lot of intercompany transactions were happening between the two companies. Customize the BOM and things like that to make sure that the entire workflow works out from the suit to make order, make to order type of scenarios. Also that Hedge is the name of the company which runs in Malaysia from manufacturing point of view, and Jonite is the name of the company which runs in Singapore. So we make sure that there is enough integration between the sales process to manufacturing. Also enable seamless tracking between the both entities and entire processes. Of course, since automated all these processes, it was easy to do the quality control in manufacturing to the customer satisfaction, quality control, and the feedback from the customer should be transparent. Procurement was done a little bit on an easier way because we know what we are from the inventory level, what is the sales order looks like, where we are, and when we need to do the replenishment. Also that client able to do the intercompany communication, and we able to do that in the Odoo chatter, which was very important. That a lot of time the two companies are talking to each other in the email, in WhatsApp and WeChat, and things get missed out. Now company has made up a process that communicate everything through the Odoo chatter discuss module and keep it everything synchronized. Yeah, I have tried to cover some of the screenshots just to give you the idea that kind of things that we have done and implemented. So we have done HubSpot to Odoo the data migration, completely we migrated. And we make sure that we have HubSpot information also available within the tab so that the team can always go back, refer, and they can figure it out if they want to get some information. CRM lead generation. We have used CRM from the lead generation. We are making sure that the country specific leads are there because they are globally from a sales point of view. So if they want to search by country, search by geography, search by company, they should be able to do that. Also we make sure that the access of the contact are based on the country specific. So we have easily given them the country selection so that they can select on the CRM when they are creating the lead, and then the access is given to certain people depend upon the sales people. 2 people are assigned to Middle East. So everything in Saudi Arabia and Egypt, they will be able to get into it. CRM lead are also assigned per the countries. And then we have given the flexibility that the the sales manager or the country manager will have access to the much bigger geography. Also, we created different options for them in the quotation because generally what happens that when you deal with interior designers and the architect, it's not easy, right? Generally they have mind work creatively so fast. They always come up with 5 different scenarios. So when you give a quotation, you want to give 2-3 different options within the quotation so that can be finalized at a one go rather than going back and forth again on the multiple options. That it should be easy for them to say, okay, I would like to go with option 1 or option B, and then just close the deal. Also, we created quotations with the PDF files, send it to them by email. Some of them are architects or they have a company, so they want in a certain format to make sure that we can go into their procurement system if we need to get into it. So we try to do that, and we have kept it with within the Odoo system. So all of these things remains in the Odoo system. We have make sure that they avoid using emails and any other thing. Even the emails are going out from the Odoo. If customer response comes, it comes within the Odoo. You can see from the chatter, discuss module or within the Odoo communication module. Revision of the quotations are very common, that typically you send a quotation, they will always ask for one or two extra things. You want to revise the quotation, you want to quick sending it out, refer that out. So all of those things are like, and then they wanted to track the revisions, that how many times it get revised, things like that. So we kept the revision tracking as well, because that's very important for them. Also, like, there are action items for the users, right? From the quotation point of view, that once quotations are done, you send it to the customer approve. Once it's approved, it goes into the internal system for sales order creation. Once the order creation, it goes to the manufacturing get notified, and the entire sales cycle runs out. So there is a predefined action item that every user need to take during the quotation process, and after the quotation process, we try to automate it and mapping those things completely with a Odoo from the platform point of view. And then once the quotations are confirmed by the customers, then you put in a certain way, create the purchase order, delivery order, and then ultimately entire manufacturing get triggered from there. This is like, that order automation that we have done it out, that Hedge is a separate company than the Jonite. So once the Jonite get the sales confirmation, how we make sure that goes into the purchase order from the manufacturing company point of view, and the seamless transfer of within the two companies are happening from the intercompany point of view and the communication. This was a big deal for them. Earlier it was like all email communication with Excel sheet and things like that. We try to avoid that and automate it as much as possible completely with this process. So this is something that was a big in terms of efficiency improvement for them as a company. Also, like, in the manufacturing, we have created sales order to MRP creations, things like that. So we make sure that entire manufacturing process and even their quality check and the distribution process, we try to automate that. And we make sure that from the Hedge, even some of the selected people in Jonite will have a visibility of a status, where it is, what is happening, things like that, so that everything can be tracked at least from the tracking point of view. Also, like, the quotations can be multiple, that you have a parent quotation and then you create a child quotation on top of that, like, things like that. So that was something very important, that how do you make sure that the assigning of the numbers and the things are done in such a way that the parent-child relationship are maintained, and we able to create multiple child quotations from one parent quotation, depend upon the customers and companies and their comfort. We try to do that. And then, like, the manufacturing process, where you define a job order, work order, you assign those work orders to the team. You wanted to make sure that the team, like, assign the work order, and then they can do the work order completion. As they are completing, they keep updating their current status. And then sometime even we have given the flexibility that certain people are taking emergency leaves or the employees are not available. How to make sure that you bring that to the other employees very quickly, assign them. And since Odoo has an amazing log and tracking system, so you're actually able to track each and every activities, each and every things, that okay, when this was assigned to someone else, what was the reason to assign, and you're able to do the better company level decision based on that data and the information. Manufacturing was important for them to automate, and as you know that when we are on the shop floor, when we are on the manufacturing, we need to make sure that it should be easy to use, it should be easy to modify. So there were certain things that they wanted to optimize from the mobile view point of view. All the Odoo mobile apps work seamlessly from the manufacturing point of view. We try to optimize certain things and certain notification within the Odoo screen from the mobile view point of view, just to make sure that to increase the efficiency and make it easy for customer to use it out. So ultimately what we try to achieve with them is, like, at a one go, when you look at it, the most important was the intercompany order sync. That was something which was very important. Also the branded document generation, PDF creations, and then if there is a quotation going to the architect firm, you wanted to put them in a branded format. That was something very important. Version tracking and the design approvals were important. dashboard, real-time dashboard between the two companies, what is happening, where the status are, and the exercise visibility based on the country, based on the clients, be able to do that. Production planning, that was something which was important, that we able to map that. Region specific CRM leads, access rights, you can search, scan, also search specific based on the country, search specific based on the geography, was able to do that out, and be able to map the entire sales team with the geography, region, and the country specific. And this was like a big uplift from the current system that they were using in HubSpot, because in HubSpot they were using, but this system was running in silo. So salespeople always had a complaint on the visibility, status, and some of the things that they wanted to get the information on a real-time basis to close the deal or talk to the clients and figuring it out something. Replenishment was something which was important, but since now when the Jonite and Hedge was coming in the same platform, we know the visibility of number of quotation went out, number of sales orders are in approval process, or the client are in the approval process. Based on that, you're able to forecast some of the inventory from the manufacturing point of view and make sure that you do the proper replenishment on that. Also, that since there was so many silo systems, so many informations from the customers we were taking again and again. Now some of the salespeople or some of the people who are doing a data entry were smart enough that they will go to HubSpot and get all the information. Sometimes the people were calling to the client, asking for the information. Client get frustrated saying that, okay, same information, how many times you are asking? And we're making sure that during the sales process, you create everything in the Odoo CRM, and that sales CRM information data goes end to end, because there is sometimes the design approval, there is sometimes the product you need to get it approved before you get into full-fledged manufacturing. So that's where you have to communicate with the customers. You need to know which are the email IDs to communicate, get approvals, things like that. And then also, that there was a major improvement that was done from the traceability, BOM, timestamp point of view. Sales order, the time that the orders are logged, from there the manufacturing process started to the delivery, QC, quality, and by the time it went out. So that was something, this is something that we try to optimize from the process point of view when we implemented Odoo, because remember, the most important is the impact. That implementing Odoo is fine, but what is the impact? What we able to achieve for that organization, and what that organization able to achieve. And that's that sales to production was improved by 70%, and this is 7-8 months of data. Generally, we have a process that we do a quarterly QBR with our customers, and when we do a QBR, we measure the success based on the improvement of the efficiency, process, syncing, real-time data, things like that. So, sales to production was 70% increase. They able to do real-time tracking from the orders to manufacturing, so that if customer is calling to the salespeople, they will be able to track the order, they will have access to the system, they able to see that and give the answers to the customer. Transparency has been increased end-to-end between the teams, between the Malaysia team and Singapore team, communication point of view and all. Branded, auto-generated PDF, quotations can be sent, stored within the system. You can revise the quotation, keep it within the system so that everything remain. Odoo Chatter was something which was vastly used, so that the emails has been reduced. Manual task coordination was 40% reduced. So typically people used to call, email, and then half of the time people will say, oh, I missed your email, I did not get the answer, I did not see that, things like that. Also, we have standardized the lead capture, from the different XML and RPC integration, because sometimes the leads comes from the website, comes from the separate system. You want to make sure that you capture that in a right format. Also, that getting the correct regional sales pipeline was something which was very important. That regional sales people want to know how much are the leads or the pipeline or the data available within this region from the customer point of view. What is the history of the customer, lifetime value of the customer, so that you know that how to approach them, how to track them and go to the next level. And then ultimately, we have scalable digital platform to compete with SAPs of the world in terms of the entire automation that we have done between the intercompanies, multi-company scenarios, multi-country, multi-company, multi-currency, and at the same time we need a consolidation balance sheet as well. So that's a little bit of brief on like, who we are, what we have done, things like that, about this customer. These are some of our other customers. As I mentioned, that we are a global partner with Odoo, proud to be associated in gold in every country that we are operating, which is Singapore, Dubai, Saudi, Kuwait, US, Canada. And these are some of our customer range, where multiple systems we have done in a different customers. Sometimes we have just started with sales, sometimes we only started with CRM, sometimes only started with inventory, account, finance, depend upon customer comfort, and we try to do that. I think in case of Jonite, we were able to do complete automation, reduce almost 6 different systems they were using, bring it everything to a one system, and super achievement in terms of the efficiency what they got out of that. This is just a QR code. Anyone has any questions, we are happy to answer. So you guys can scan that and ask questions. We have a booth in hall 10. So you guys are most welcome to visit our booth, and our Odoo expert team is available. They will be happy to showcase the demos, happy to answer the questions. Jonite case study is available on our Odoo website. It's available on our website as well. So you guys can read through that, and some of the other case studies apart from that as well. So any questions, anything, if you have, we are happy to answer and happy to share more information, and any way we can help you to come from manual into automation in a best digital platform, we'll be happy to do so. Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
No questions.
Perfect. Yeah. So we have a couple of minutes, so we'll give a half a minute if there is any questions. Otherwise, yeah.
Right now, still nothing.
Perfect. These are some of our countries of operations and locations that we have, and we are in hall 10 and booth 1. Happy to meet you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.